Hey there guys, and welcome back. On this week's show, we're making an advent calendar. Well, I was walking through a store not too long ago and I saw a reusable advent calendar. And I really liked the idea and I liked their concept or their design, but there was a bunch of changes that I thought, you know what? I wouldn't have done that like this. I would have done this. So I thought, what a great show idea that I would come up with my own design and share it with you guys as to how to make your own reusable advent calendar. This will most likely be a multi-part build. We'll see how it goes, but it all starts off with some 1/4 inch thick MDF. The first piece that I'm going to make will be the backboard for our calendar. And it is a 1/4 inch thick piece of MDF. It is 11.5 inches wide and just under 18 inches long. So the very first thing that I want to do is place a mark from the bottom up at 12 inches. We will also place a center line on our board from that mark at 12 inches right up to the top. And now from each of our sides, we will place a mark at 40 degrees in from this point. And that will be the peak of our house. And at this point, we'll take it over to the table saw. Using our miter fence, we will cut the peak. And there we have the basic shape of our advent calendar. Well, I've gathered up a bunch of 1/4 inch hardboard scraps and cut them 2 inches wide. And they will eventually be placed in this kind of a configuration. But for now, what we want to do is we want to carefully cut the pieces just to make our outer perimeter of our advent calendar. So we will cut our side pieces to the full length of our sides, and then we will cut these pieces to fit inside between these two. Remembering now that our backboard, these are going to sit on our backboard, which will of course make our side pieces 1/2 inch shorter than what the backboard is, because we're going to have a 1/4 inch on this side and a 1/4 inch on this side. Now at this point you should have something that looked like this. Now my advice to you is to cut these pieces after you've cut your upright. The reason for that is we are going to need 3 more of these pieces the exact same length. So while you already have your miter fence set with your stop set, you might as well cut those 3 and we'll lay them in place roughly where they go. So now these pieces will go roughly here. So with those 3 pieces in place, you now want to cut 4 more that will go across the vertical sections of our house. And they will be the exact same length as these ones here. You may say, wait a second, but this here is actually longer than the width. That is true, but the compartments itself will all be equal. So we're going to need to lower this top piece. Either way, cut yourself 4 more uprights to be able to fit into our framework. Well, these pieces will eventually go like this, and they will be situated 2 inches apart. Just like this. So the last 2 pieces that you need now, with these situated with 2 inch space in between each, will be 2 pieces that are cut from the inside dimension here to the inside dimension of your outside frame. They will go right across here, leaving the center one to be a double section. And now those last two pieces will fit right here in between those. Wow, what a balancing act that is. Okay, so now we have to cut the joints for these to go together. And what I'm going to do, you've seen me do it here on the show before, is I'm going to do a half slot joint. That's what I'm going to call it anyway. And that is where I cut a slot halfway up through our piece, the same width as our material is thick, and that will then get a corresponding slot in the opposite direction right here. And the two of them will slide together. Let me cut one of those, and playing dominoes in the shop today. Let me cut one of those joints, and when I get it cut, I'm going to come back, show you how it goes together, and explain how it is that you will need to cut all of yours. So what I have done is used a 1/4 inch dado blade. I have cut a slot halfway through, and these will just fit together just like that. So that will be the framework of our inner box. So the way that you want to do it is you want each section to be a 2x2 square. So all the way across now, we're going to start with the top piece, set your stop for 2 inches, and we will cut the top of each of our uprights. We will then cut the edge, the left edge of each one of our cross pieces here. Then we will flip them around and cut this one using the same stop. We can also cut these ones. Now, considering that the joint here will be a butt joint, make sure that you don't cut the bottom section. So just pay attention to what's going on. Make sure you keep in mind exactly what's happening here so that we know exactly what we're doing. And in no time at all, we will have our sections cut. With all of those outside slots cut, we will now do the exact same thing for our upright pieces. 2 inches in, flip it, 2 inches in, and then once you get those done, all you need to do is measure over 2 inches from this edge of the slot right here to the next edge of the slot. You'll cut it, rotate it 180 degrees and cut it. Do that on your uprights as well, and you should end up with a 2x2 grid. The one thing that will be different, of course, is just remember that when you're doing this upright, do not cut a slot down here at the bottom. Only cut it at the one end. And with all of those dados cut, you should have something that looks like this. And this will just fit right in there. There you go. There is all of our sections all divided nicely. There was a little bit, it seems, of a miscalculation somewhere, only because our center sections here, while they are 2 inches wide, they are actually 2 1/8 inches long. So somewhere there, I lost a total of 1/8 of an inch. I'm pretty sure I know where that is. I measured the thickness of each of these pieces, and they're just a little bit, like a 32nd of an inch shy of 1/4 inch. Added up over the whole piece, because we did it symmetrically, whatever is left over will end up here in the middle. And what we ended up with, of course, is 1/8 long. That's okay. When we're making the doors for these sections, we'll just have to compensate for that. Well, in order to make the doors for each of our compartments, I've cut some 1/4 inch thick MDF, and what they are is they are 1/16 of an inch shorter and 1/8 of an inch more narrow than what the openings are. I have marked which way is up and down just because they are so close to each other in dimension, so we want to make sure that we get them the right way. Otherwise, they're not going to open. So once you get all of your door pieces cut, we now need to do some drilling for the hinges. But I will caution you here, make sure you're keeping track of what pieces are going where. You don't want to be mixing this up, because once we start putting this together and doing the final assembly, there is no turning back. Well, the first step in making the hinges for these doors is we need to drill for our hinge pins. And for that, I've drilled on the center of each one of our pieces here, 1/4 of an inch in from the end. I have drilled a 1/4 inch deep hole. And to do that accurately and make them all the same, all I've done is set a depth stop, set my fence on my drill press, and as well set a stop block here to be able to drill each one perfectly and make them identical. The only thing you want to be careful of is make sure that you're drilling them on the right side. For my project, I want all the hinges to be on the left. If you want yours on the right, that's fine too. You just have to adjust the drilling of your pins in this case, or in the drilling of the receptacle holes that will be in each one of these compartments. So with all those 3/32 holes drilled in each one of our door panels, we now need to drill the holes that will be in our box frames to hold the hinge pins. Those will be 7/64 in diameter, and from the edge, the left edge of each one of our compartments, 5/16 of an inch in from the edge and 1/4 inch in from the front edge, we are going to drill a 7/64 diameter hole. We will do that on the left edge of each one of our compartments, top and bottom, all the way along. Well, here I've started drilling for all of my hinge pins, and I only need the horizontal pieces. I've placed the marks where I need the hinge pins just on the bottom piece. And from there, all I need to do is set a depth stop to drill at that level and then duplicate that at each piece going up the tier. The fence being set will set it so that all of the holes are the exact same distance from the back. So I'm going to finish drilling these holes now, and I guess then we can cut and install our hinge pins, and I'll show you how that's going to go together. Okay, so with all of those holes drilled, I can now go through and reassemble the entire body of the house. Just remember, try to keep everything aligned. Don't go mixing up your pieces now that you've got all the drilling done. It's important to keep it all in its original alignment so that all the pieces will fit together properly. Okay, well, I have my whole assembly temporarily clamped back together, and I just want to show you how these hinges are going to work. So I have cut a bunch of 3/32 diameter dowels that are 3/4 of an inch long. And essentially what you're going to do is you're going to hold the door in place and pop a hinge pin down through the hole and into the hole that you drilled in your door. Then you're going to take another of these pins and put it up through the next level, put it up through and into your door pin, or the hole rather, in your door, just like that. Now your second door down is going to slide onto this pin that you had protruding down through, and then another pin will get pushed up inside, just like this. And that will connect the next door. So your next door then will connect to that pin that's protruding through and then another pin will come up through the bottom. You see the pattern here? And then from there, your next door will hook onto that pin, and then another one up through the bottom. And then it will finally finish off on the very last one by placing a pin or the door over the pin, and then your last pin up through the bottom. And then now each one of our doors can open and close with enough clearance to get by the edge there. So you're going to want to do that for all of your pieces, and then you can have all your doors attached. Now at this point, you just want to make sure that all your doors open and close freely. They should swing all the way inside if they have free movement. Well, what I've done is I've cut some 1/4 inch wide strips of 1/4 inch thick MDF, and I have cut them to just slightly under 1 5/8. And what I'm going to do in each one of these openings is I'm going to glue this piece right up here in the top right hand corner, and what that will do is act as our doorstop. So I'll glue another one in there, and there you go. So you can see how that will work to keep all of our doors from closing too far in. Well, once you get your doorstops glued in place, you can glue the rest of the assembly together. Glue your sides on, glue your top and your bottom on, and as well you can glue it to your backboard. And now with everything glued together, we just need to sit back and let this dry. We will be removing all of our doors again. For now, it's just to get them fit and put into place before we finalize the build sort of thing. But there you go. There is all the doors, all attached. They all open nicely, and they all close well and stop where they are supposed to. And unfortunately, that's all the time that we have for this week's show. We've made some really great progress, and I'm looking forward to continuing it on next week's program. If you haven't already, please don't forget to like and subscribe. Click the bell so that you don't miss notifications of future episodes of the show, like part 2 of this build. Guys, this has been a lot of fun so far. I know it looks a little rustic right now with all that scrap MDF, but don't worry, it's all going to come together hopefully on next week's show. Guys, I hope that you've enjoyed the content so far. I want to thank you so much for tuning in, and I honestly hope you're going to join me again next week when I bring you yet another woodworking video.